Checks to the bank, baby.
When you're looking for a property, the first thing, you can add this to your goals, is I want to find a house that cash flows. And what does that mean? So it's an equation, and it's simple math. And this might be something you want to write down too. It's quite simple. On one side of the equation, we have all of our expenses. And that's your principal and interest, which I typically calculate at between 6 and 8%, depending on how conservative you might feel. Okay? We all know that mortgage rates are low. We've heard it from the brokers. I got mortgages at 1.5%, and it's like you're dancing around. 1.5% is free money. It's a joke, though, because a few years ago, those houses weren't making as much money. I'm making more money on them now. But I know what goes around comes around, and interest rates are going to come back. And if I'm buying things based on a 1.5% interest rate, I'm in trouble. So I want to be a little more conservative. So I get a set of between 6 and 8%, depending on how much I love that property, maybe. Those are your first two expenses, principal and interest. Then you have your taxes, you have your insurance, you have utilities. If you pay the utilities on that property, the tenant might pay them. You have maintenance and vacancy, and potentially condo fees. There's other variables that come in, but these are your main things. And people often say, well, how much should I put aside for maintenance? I put 1 month's worth of rent aside a year for maintenance. I put 1 month's worth of rent aside for vacancy. So your calculations are really based on renting for 10 months of the year. Now, it's easy. The other side of the equation is just how much money is this property generating. It's the rent. It's the income. The income, all my expenses, all my income minus all my expenses. Do I have a positive number? Now, if it's $2, forget it, right? No need to bother for $2.
I'm Scott McGillivray. I have dozens of properties and hundreds of tenants. I do income properties for a living.
Here's another mistake that I've been to real estate seminars where they're like, who wants to quit their job? Right? You've been to these real estate seminars, right? Who in this room has a J-O-B? Huh? Anyone got a J-O-B? Now me. I invest in real estate. Right? That's baloney. Start with one and see if you like it. Keep your job, for crying out loud. People are dying for jobs. Don't just quit your job. Keep your job. In fact, you're going to need your job to probably qualify for the mortgage, unless you have a student loan. All right?
$600. Excellent. $600. Now we're getting some value for this barbecue. That's still a good price. You're going to pay for that in the stores. This one's going to get delivered, and you're going to get the $20 gift certificate. And the shirtless cooking. Did you lose your appetite yet? I apologize.
But if you stick to the fundamentals of cash flow, does this house make money? I see people invest in real estate, they're like, oh, I bought this house, it's great, it's got so much future potential, and my renters pay me $1,500 a month, and my mortgage and everything comes out to like $1,900, so I only have to put in $300 a month into this property. Like, that doesn't make sense. We're putting money into that house. Oh, but it's going towards principal, and I said, no. That's not how it works. You're going to kill yourself. You're working for all these houses now. It's the opposite. The houses work for you. Every house should add to your cash flow. That's all you should focus on. Focus on your cash flow. Stop using equity as an excuse, because equity is what will drive you crazy. It is what everyone talks about, the roller coaster of the real estate market. I've never been on that roller coaster. I hear about it. I panicked about it 2 years ago, but I sat down again with Mike. I said, we got to really think about this. Maybe we should just sell half of them. Like, think about how much profits we made. Let's just sell half of them. Come on, we'll take all that money. We'll move to Jamaica or wherever we're going to go. It's going to be awesome. And we looked at the numbers again. I'm like, well, I'm still making the same amount of money I did last year. The money hasn't changed. We got to stop focusing on the equity. We have to focus on the cash flow. And what happened? Interest rates plummeted, and all our variable interest rates plummeted, and we made 33% more money last year than we did the year before. We got a massive raise, is what happened. And people are like, oh my God, aren't your houses losing value? I said, I don't care if my house is worth $1. I made this much more money, right? It can go down to $1, it can go back up to $1 million. That's gonna happen over time. Or we don't even know. You can't control that, because that's the panic of the market. It really is.
You can see how this bungalow has a huge basement.
Wow, it's the same size as upstairs. So this is a full house downstairs.
You got it. Basically, once we've finished the basement, we'll have doubled the size of the house.
At age 31, Scott already has a decade of real estate experience.
I got started when I was in university. A friend of mine and I, instead of renting, we decided to buy against all advice from friends and family. You're too young, what are you doing? You've got student debt. But we bought the house and we rented part of it out, lived there, and then we repeated the process 30 times.
Scott gives...
It wasn't that long ago when I was a student here at the University of Guelph, so I can tell you lots of specifics about this city. I was almost $30,000 in student debt, and I had pretty much no money. And I decided that this wasn't the greatest path. You know, I went to university to learn all this great stuff, but I still somehow was broke. I was paying rent to a landlord. I'd been paying rent for 3 years, and I was quite tired of it. Sounds like, from show of hands, I've seen a lot of people here already own real estate, so you're already one step ahead of where I was, which is great. Because buying your first house, you do learn a lot. But it's been a while since I was that broke guy back in university, 21 years old. And I decided that, yes, I wanted to own real estate, didn't want to be paying rent. There wasn't much I could do about it, but I did have a lot of energy and a lot of drive. And a guy I went to university with, Mike here, we had the same sort of ideas. We were both paying rent. We thought it was absurd. And we were both business students. And we couldn't wrap our minds around this. I'm like, I'm a business student. Why hasn't somebody shown me what's going on here? This is crazy talk. I'm spending all this money, right? How is that possible? So the first thing we did, and the first thing you should write down, if you've written down anything at all, or maybe not, but maybe on a fresh page, you should start a title called My Goals. And this might sound cheesy, but the biggest companies in the world sit in boardrooms, and the heads of those companies put together their goals. And owning real estate is a business. You will be the CEO of this real estate business if you're going to be buying these properties. Michael and I are the CEO of a joint company, which used to just be Mike and Scott, who own a bunch of houses. That was our company, right? And then I partnered up with other people, and then even my wife and I are partners in real estate as well, because we're obsessed with it. It's great. We love it. When you get that rent check, you're going to be dancing all the way to the bank. Checks to the bank. It's amazing, you know, people, my mom still doesn't believe in real estate. And we go shopping, she pulls out coupons. I go nuts. I go nuts on these coupons. Like $1.50, I'm like, come on. I'm like, if you just negotiated, 25 base points of your mortgage interest rate, you'd save $5,000 a year, and you could just throw these damn coupons out, right? When you start working on a larger scale, everything that all these professionals have told you about translate into thousands of dollars, because real estate's a monster, right? It's not like buying a piece of furniture and say, oh, I got 20% off this $200 piece of furniture. You can set those negotiations aside. Use those skills for the monstrous purchases in your life, like real estate. And once you learn those skills, you save thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. It's amazing, every few months when we sit down, refocus, renegotiate some mortgages, all of a sudden, that translates in, $100 a property times 40 properties, if it's everyone together, 40 properties at $100 times 12 months, all of a sudden it's like, wow, just made an extra $227,000 this year. And if you have questions, I am going to stick around, but thank you very much.